Okay. I'm recording.
Dude, you've been saying that ever since we were Blink 12.
Do you like that I had to message you to explain that to me? Because it was like all day on the Twitter, and I was sort of like, you know, having like a normal day where I wasn't able to do a real deep dive on...
We've really created some sort of fucked up hierarchy where like you're the Ebenezer Scrooge and I'm the Tiny Tim or something.
Mean? Although I guess he is the hero of the story in the end.
You're
so
just like,
fine.
you're sort of up in corporate doing all the wheeling and dealing,
Right.
and I'm down on the ground, and every once in a while you're like, let's have a little catch up. Let me know what's going. What are
they saying on the factory floor? Like, what are they saying about me? Is this what Citizen Kane is about?
What's the 2018 like term for a casual meeting? Because I feel like in this scenario, I would say that this character that I'm creating for you, who's like a sort of clueless boss man trying to be cool, I feel like he would say like, let's have a little powwow, but I feel like that's probably very offensive at this point.
I think it's problematic. Like, maybe you could give me a quick download. Like, you're just sort of gonna...
Oh my God, you say that to people?
Well, I don't say that because I'm not the character that you're inventing, but I'm just playing along, man. I'm building up this character that's not me.
Like, what about when you're like hanging out with your boss in the back of his Beamer?
Right.
And you're like, just like you're trying to suck up to him, but like you're trying to like seem cool, but also talk about spreadsheets. Like, what do you say? Like, let's have a little jam sesh.
Yeah, yeah. I suggest that we no. Like, honestly, I think you say powwow, and then you just know that you've said the wrong thing and that you shouldn't say it. No, I think what's a worse term for a meeting? I constantly use the term sesh, which is, I don't think businessy, and it's more just like terrible.
Oh God, it's so good.
But yeah, so I'm asking for like you to just take the temperature on the factory floor.
It's really just
drop by the office. Just have a little drop in.
I feel like so much of what you do in your day job is like kind of secret because it's not announced yet or whatever, and it involves famous people. But it is. I'm never not entertained when I'm like asking you like, hey, can you show me how to upload this drawing of a cartoon dick to the Patreon? And then you're like, sorry, I was just in a meeting about blank. And it's always like something so...
Yeah, but either like very cool or deeply embarrassing. I feel like there's no middle ground generally in the updates that you get from me.
Yeah.
It's either profound shame or like a really like slick sense of pride that goes along with all of my work.
But either way, it's just like extremely large in scope. And like I just have multiple tabs open with Sonic genitalia.
Are you really excited about the live action Sonic movie? Or are you just sort of readying your body for it?
I mean, I felt it's one of those things that when things go viral, like for the first 15 seconds or so, it feels so fun and exciting. And then it just immediately gets like someone turned it into Gritty or something. And I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm done.
Are you worried about people being done with you and with the pod because of the constant viral success of things like you've been saying that since we were Blink 12?
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? But that is sort of the nice thing about knowing that you have nothing to do with any of it is that people say like, damn, I bet you wish that you went viral on your own Twitter. And I'm like, this is my Twitter.
This is an extension of me now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it tough for you sometimes to decide whether to post on your own Twitter or to post on the Blink-155 Twitter?
Not really. I mean, I'm actually so sick of like publicly talking about Blink-182 as me. So if there's anything related to Blink-182, I'll put it on this one. But what I do now is like, even if it's the most minute Blink-182 related news story, I'll definitely make sure that I post it on Exclaim because I know everyone's going to send me the link anyways. So
right.
They may as well be sending me my own link.
Right. That's good. So you're helping, the advertising revenue at your own company, which is great.
It's really just I'm a one-man circle jerk.
Which, is just a jerk, I think, is
right.
What you're describing.
So did you go to a Christmas party last night?
Yeah, so last week when we recorded, you really got the best of me because I was at the end of a travel day on 2 hours sleep. And today...
Where were you traveling from again?
Oh, I was just on a little thing called Tour. The Champagne Sammy account, which is a Twitter account dedicated
That is the one that you run, right?
It's my account dedicated to my own wealth. Had an effective roast of me, which is that I am somehow able to make tour into a 3-syllable word. Yeah, sick. So yeah, of course, last week I was coming back from the Junior Battles European Tour. Still got my lanyard on, and and today it's the day after a work holiday party. So I'm at 100. I'm got some hair of the dog. It's been a while since I drank and potted, so I'm
How'd the party go?
I'm worried with where you're leading with this. Like, it feels like you're trying to draw some very specific thing out of me. It was fine. I don't know. It was a work party. Do you like? I just miss working with
That's
people?
the thing. Well, that's the weird thing. This is the only time of year where I notice that I work from home and the office on the other side of the country, where it's not even that I miss it. It's just something that's happening that I don't participate in, which seems really nice, actually. While I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can just stay home and play video games. It's way better. But I have noticed
sounds like something you would say to protect yourself, Josiah.
Well, the main thing is, like, when I used to have work parties, I would obviously bring wife of the pod Sarah as my plus one, and she would just wonderfully mesh with everyone. No matter where I worked, they would become best of friends.
Of course.
They would, and then throughout the year, people would be like, oh, how's Sarah? And, they've only met her once, but she became friends with everyone. Now, the flip side is, she's worked at the same company for quite a few years, and her work party is the only one that I go to. And we've both noticed that, like, and I can be a bit much, but I'm also like I'm pretty outgoing and friendly when you first meet me. But both Sarah and I have independently noticed that, like, her work just does not give a fuck about me. It's like, I go to this party and everyone is extremely cold to me. Neither of us can figure out why, but it's like, so I'm going to that one next week, but I'm so insecure
really
because
no one likes you there.
They just straight up don't like me. And like, there's been a lot of staff turnaround and new people will come in and just completely indifferent towards me. I'll try to be friendly to them, try to make conversation, and it's just never, I don't know what it is, but everyone at Sarah's work hates my guts.
Have you thought about telling them that you host the internet's 7th most popular Blink-182 podcast?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I might have to. I generally try to avoid talking about that in real life if I can, but I might have to bring it up this time because I'll go for anything.
Mary, man. It's at this point.
I'm going to show them my verified check mark. Hopefully, that'll do something.
You should wear one of the pins that you made. Of course, new Blink-155 merch
of myself.
Wear a pin of yourself plus the Dude Ranch It's Come pin. And
I swear to God, like, I can remember last year there was a circle of people talking. Sarah was kind of in the center of it.
And were you like, hey, you guys want to talk about cum? And now you are wondering why these people don't love you?
No, like, there was a full circle of people talking with Sarah in the center because she's sort of like the alpha. Like, everyone loves her. Everyone is drawn to her to talk to her. And I was standing outside of the circle. It's like the British. I feel like I'm David Brandt. It's crazy.
It's very sad. I feel sad for you, man.
Well, it's just kind of like, I don't need to be liked by them. I'm just baffled by it.
Right.
So
this is starting to become some real like wounded goth teenager shit of like, I don't want them to like me because they're all, I laugh. You laugh because I'm different, and I laugh because they're all the
office
same.
Drones. Yeah, sitting in their cubicle. No, I don't know. We'll see. I'm feeling a little anxious about it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do an update next week. I mean, it's at a really delicious restaurant, so maybe I'll just eat my feelings while everyone acts indifferent towards me.
Well, I can't wait to hear Josiah Caulfield's updates from the phonies of Sarah's work party. It's going to be amazing. So,
I don't even remember what the song is called.
Well,
so.
Yeah, like I had a debate, which was I wanted to do this entire introduction in the voice of Nick Cage from a movie that features this title, like, his terrible accent in this movie. But then I realized early on you'd be like, why are you doing this voice? And I'd be like, I'm Nick Cage and Peggy Sue got married. So, Josiah. It's pretty good, right?
I shouldn't have mentioned your impression skills last week. You've got too much power.
The problem is that you said that you were so good at doing impressions, and now I'm jealous.
That's not a real movie, is it? I've never heard of that movie.
Peggy Sue got married? Are you looking it up?
Yeah,
it's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. With,
he's only done.
what's
He's
her
only
name?
made
The
those Godfather
graduate
movies.
in it. Yeah, it's not good.
Oh yeah, I've seen this poster before.
Yeah,
it's a good poster.
And he like inexplicably does this like bizarre accent that sounds exactly like the one I was just doing.
I would love to see this movie. I actually absolutely love like late 70s, early 80s movies that have 6 out of 10 on IMDb. It's one of my favorite genres for like a weekend daytime watch.
Well, it's definitely like part of that era's nostalgia for the 50s. Like it's another kind of time travel, back to your high school days, back to the future type thing. In the same way that, I don't remember, I was reading an interview with someone, it was, what's his name? The guy that made Mandy, talking about, because both of his movies have been set in the early 80s. Panos. And he was kind of explaining, like obviously there's this sort of fetishization of the 80s happening right now, but it's actually no different than when everyone was making movies set in the 50s, like 30 years ago. So that's just a little fact about Mandy and Peggy Sue Got Married that I wanted to share. So
I was really hoping that you were going to quote my interview with Panos back to me, because that
was that in your interview with him.
I'm trying to think. I don't think that was in mine, but
how was Panos? What was that like?
Boy, that would have been good. He was vaping the whole time I was talking to him. I felt like I was talking to you.
No, that's cool. A lot of beeping in the background and stuff.
Yeah, there was like some mechanisms working their magic to get that sweet release of puffed smoke.
Herbal release. Me and Panos, man, we get it.
No, but I love I didn't realize there's a time travel one, but I love give me a good like Sunday 1 p.m. with commercial breaks, a movie where like Diane Keaton buys a farm because she's too stressed at work, right. And then she has to like paint it, and that's pretty much the whole movie.
And that's how she like reconnects with her daughter, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that shit.
It's so good.
Some Billy Joel on the soundtrack or something.
Oh, I would love to watch a movie with Billy Joel on the soundtrack right now. There's definitely a letterbox list somewhere that's like Billy Joel soundtrack films, and they're all excellent, and they all star Diane Keaton.
Hell yeah.
So Peggy Sue by the band Blink-182. It's a near rhyme. I think this song's great. Josiah, how do you feel about it?
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Good. Well, we're done. That's another week of our podcast. That's
another
mostly
thing that
about
we've
Nicolas Cage accents.
Last week we said we were like fumbling around in the dark, and one of our cruel, snarky fans said that we've done that so many times. Which I don't know if that's true, but I do think in every episode we pretend that it's over at the start.
True, yeah.
And we're not at the halfway. We're not at the halfway point yet, and we're running out of things.
But we're fucking close, man. We're close. We were doing the math before we started recording. And
so everyone think about what this means for just sort of time and what your life is. The halfway point of the podcast is New Year's Day, 2019.
That's fucked. Like literally 77 and a half is New Year's Day.
That's insane.
It's rare. Like, I love New Year's, and I think we probably talked about this last year on the pod or just generally. I mean, I like any excuse to, just rip it up in the streets. And but generally, like, New Year's is like, I also buy into the kind of cynical view of like, who fucking cares? Like, it's a arbitrary date. It doesn't really have any bearing on your life, except that this year, New Year's Day really will mean something to all of us. So even if you're a New Year's cynic, I think it's important that we will recognize and celebrate this day appropriately together.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I'm not gonna count down New Year's. I'm gonna count down to the halfway point of January 1st.
We should come up with a better, catchier name for it than the halfway point. We'll workshop that a little bit. I also think it's sort of miraculous because people talk a lot about middle age and what it means to them and midlife crises, et cetera, et cetera. But it's
crises,
Sorry, thank you. It's last night someone was giving a speech at the office Christmas party, and they referred to an omen as an amen. And I was like, that's one of the oddest pronunciations of like, that's not a real fancy word. Just wanted to share that with people.
Maybe he was saying, "Oh man,"
right? It's true. No, it's mostly just me correcting someone on a podcast 24 hours later. So truly noble behavior.
Do the people you work with know about the podcast?
A few of them do, but generally speaking, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to explain. Like dribs and drabs sort of come out from time to time. Like just generally like of my extracurricular pursuits, where like someone will be like, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" And then I'll be like, "Oh yeah." And then they'll be like, "What the fuck?" Like this, because some of those videos have like done pretty well, right? And you're like, "Yeah, that's like a thing." And then like when we did the meetup, it was like, "Oh, this podcast that I do," and we had this thing, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And you're like, "Yeah, people were there from Dallas or something." But it's definitely curious when it comes up. Everyone at Exclaim knows about the pod, though, right? I feel like
yeah, like some of them listen. It's interesting. The ones that have never listened to an episode are the ones who have demanded that they get to guest one day.
Right, of course.
So that's, yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you're listening and you know, you can guess who is who. But anyways, moving along to Peggy Sue.
Yes.
Sam, what do you think of the song Peggy Sue? And if you say that it's good, if you bluntly say that it's good, then I'm going to say that the episode's done and that we can move on with our day.
Classic joke. I did want to finish my middle age thought, which is that people talk about being in their middle age and sort of what it does to them psychologically, but the fact is none of us really know when we're going to die. I mean, I could die in the middle of this podcast. I could already be dead. This podcast could be part of my personal hell. It's hard. It's hard.
When
to know.
You get to the covers, you're going to be especially confused.
I can't fucking wait. But like, this is something where we know definitively January 1st, 2019 is the midlife of this pod, and I trust that we will celebrate accordingly.
Because Blink-182 is not working on new music.
Nope, they're not. They are.
There's nothing anyone can do. No amount of success or financial. I don't know how to say making money because I'm not good at it. But no amount of compensation or success.
Remuneration, yeah.
Nothing will convince us to continue this pod.
Nothing. Not a
thing. Whatever the date is that is the last show, we should know that by now.
We got to put that in the calendar because I don't want to. Maybe I'll be busy that day. You know?
We're never speaking to each other again after that goddamn day.
That's it. It's the end of things. And I personally look forward to that. But about the song Peggy Sue, it's good. It's so good, and it's one of those songs that I didn't play to death at the time. And so when you said we were doing it this week and I like listened to it again, I was like, oh my God, it's so good. And let's do it a couple times today. And it's not like a perfect song. Like it's clear why this is not one of the like, I mean, I know it's on the live album and it sort of survived a few kind of eras of this band, but ultimately like it's not Carousel, it's not M&M's, it's not one of those songs, but it's still like a tier B old school Blink song, and like maybe leading the pack of the Bs. It's a killer bee, is my take. What's yours, Josiah?
The only killer bee in my life is Queen Bee, Beyonce.
Right. Yes. All respect to the Queen. Yes, Queen.
As I get older, I'm really trying to come to terms with the fact that everyone just says that they're a stan of everything now. And I've been so grossed out by it for so many years, but I think, do I just have to start saying it?
Yeah, you stand for Blink-182. This is a stan pod.
I hate it. Like, it's disgusting when people say it. But it's just a thing that is part of life now. And so I guess life is bad.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just realizing that now.
That's the thing that sort of put you over the edge. That maybe we're in hell world is overusage
people
of
saying stan. Well, do you want to know the reason why I picked this song?
I do, Josiah.
It's hidden in plain sight in the second line of the song.
Okay. Listening to all the doubts that your parents have to say to you. Did you?
Because we're in mom and dad season.
Oh, and right. I thought like maybe something had happened with your parents where they listened to the pod and they were like, Josiah, we gave you every opportunity. Every opportunity.
And you are using it to the best of your abilities.
And they're so proud, and they're the guests.
Give me a kiss on my forehead.
You should have. I think I talked about this at one point, not on the pod, maybe just in the chat, about having our parents on the pod. Which might be an interesting addition to mom and dad season, but
right.
I don't know that I want to subject my lovely parents to any.
What, are you saying something bad about my parents?
Oh, not your parents too. I meant subject them to like again this thing that like I have been part of creating, which
This is like a sort of a my dad can beat up your dad thing,
that's
except
not what I'm saying.
you know what? Fuck you, Sam.
my,
Just because
my dad
parents
can
didn't
pawn
own a
better than
hosiery store. Yeah. It's called Husery and Hosiery is the name of the episode.
That's good, man.
Thank you. No, I just the revelation of how much they talk about mom and dad shouldn't have been that much of a surprise, but now that I've thought of it, I'm seeing it everywhere. Just constant talking about parents.
Well, I think you've sort of unlocked something. You've taken the red pill of mom and dad season, and the toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube. Just to combine two different metaphors.
Right. But it is very heteronormative for them to have one male and one female parent. Kind of like when I'm looking at Blink-182 talking about their parents and how they have heteronormative parents, I'm like, okay,
Right.
canceled.
Right. Pretty problematic, I gotta say.
It's 2018, guys.
Although I'm just doing a skim of this song, I don't think they gender their parents at all. I think we've actually gendered parenting by calling it mom and dad season. So I think actually we maybe need to take a look at ourselves here. Because
because I'm not saying necessarily that all of the parental units in mom and dad season are one mom and one dad.
Right.
I'm just
mom,
including them
dad.
all.
Okay, moms and dads. It's just so that it should be moms and dads season.
Yeah, but I'm just I'm just saving the S's so that it's not so difficult to say. I've
Right.
planned this out.
Okay,
carefully.
sorry. I didn't realize how much thought had gone into this.
This has
until
been
right
in
now.
research and development for many, many months.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you are unveiling all of your sort of meticulous research, this
But anyways,
song,
yeah,
okay,
this song
moving on.
this song has some life in it because I think what it is a Blink-182 song that almost was. Like, this song is good enough to be on Dude Ranch, and you can tell, even by including it on Mark, Tom, and Travis' show, that they were kind of like...
Totally, yeah.
It's like this song was a missed opportunity that has never quite been corrected.
Because I don't know what your take is. I think the chorus is fucking amazing, and the verses sound like super, like, just dusted off. Like, the verses are just like basement punk band shit, and then the chorus is where you're like, ooh, what are these boys doing here?
Yeah, and there's like some sort of halftime groove to it that kind of makes me want to do the turnstile dance that I do whenever I hear turnstile. It just makes me want to like wave around.
I like to imagine you have like a truly involuntary response to someone putting on turnstile.
I kind of do.
And you'd be put in like very wacky situations where like you're at Sarah's office Christmas party, like trying to have a normal conversation.
Oh God,
and
why'd you have to bring that up again?
I sneak up behind you, start ripping turnstile, and you're like, oh no, now I gotta dance.
No, it's just a grooving. It does, yeah, it does have a bit of a turnstile groove, and I think it's because they're wearing such baggy t-shirts when they perform it.
Right. Do you think it's a baggy t-shirt groove? Like it's...
This is totally a baggy t-shirt song, and there's not enough of those, frankly.
This is a dirty work song for sure.
However, before we get into the actual song, I want to say the melody of the guitar line, I don't know... There's no way to possibly know what year this is from. It could be from this year for all we know. Mm-hmm. Peggy Sue by Blink-182.
Yeah.
No one knows. But I don't know which is which or if it's just a coincidence, but the melody of the guitar riff kind of reminds me of this.
There's a real cool club on the other side of town where the real cool kids gotta sit around and talk bad about the other kids. Yeah, it's a real cool club, and you're not part of it.
That melodic phrase at the end of this Screeching Weasel song is also the same melodic phrase as in the Blink-182 riff.
That's sorry, what year is that song from? That's from 96. So,
yeah.
So maybe that was the first sign that Ben Weasel was a bad man. Was stealing from Blink and then eventually punching women in the face.
It's pretty generic, I guess, but the it's like, I don't know, like it's definitely, he probably heard Cheshire and then forgot. And then
yeah, I think there's also like
his...
two punk melodies, you know?
Yeah.
And this is just one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting because even when I've noticed this, then I thought like, oh, is this Blink doing some Ramones core kind of shit, but it's not at all. Like you said, like the verses get sort of generic, and then the chorus has that like baggy t-shirt groove. But at least there's something here that reminds me of Screeching Weasel. And yeah, I've never gotten into Screeching Weasel, and I think in my heart of hearts I've always known that Ben Weasel sucks.
Have I already talked about us playing with Screeching Weasel at one time, like 1,000,000 times?
I don't think so.
It was just so we played a show in Quebec City with Screeching Weasel like a couple of years ago, and it was kind of right around the time.
Being that you're not from Quebec City, this is technically a story about being on tour.
We were on tour at that time, and so it was like right around the time that he was like really melting down online, like every fucking day. And Quebec City, unlike Montreal, is like pretty actually French. Like, there's a really good chance that if you're, like, playing a concert, the people that you're playing for, like, don't really speak English that well. And so between every song, all he would do would, like, rant about, like, I thought punk was about having your own, opinion, but it turns out the PC police are coming after guys like me and Joe Queer. And you're like, yeah, you guys both fucking suck. Like, and like that sucks, man. And this song's about what punk rock used to be. And he would rant for like, I'm not exaggerating, fucking minutes between songs, and like no one knew what the fuck he was talking about. And it was just like the most perfect example of just like how fucking useless Ben Weasel's fight is like, yeah, just rant at a bunch of French punks who don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, nothing you say matters. It's fine.
He just seems, he kind of reminds me, and people of his ilk remind me of Chris Maloney in Wet Hot American Summer for some reason. Yeah. He just like seems like that kind of guy, just like a muscly, loud guy that everyone is like
intense. I really like Screeching Weasel. Like I'm not going to pretend I'm better than it, or like I had some sense that it was all going to go south, but he obviously turned out to be a huge fucking dick.
Yeah, I don't know. I just picture him as like a Chris Maloney character. Just all these guys who are like have these like loudmouth opinions and probably like have strong opinions about like what is objectively good punk and what's bad.
What's punk?
And like their wives secretly hate them.
Yeah, totally.
Just like loudly debating someone at a party and their wife is just like mortified.
Again.
Probably.
He was also trying to crowdfund like a punk musical sort of 2 years after American Idiot, and it was so obvious that it was just an attempt to sort of draft off of that success, but he like never acknowledged it and would just be like, no, I've always liked musicals. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Are you out of your fucking mind? Although now I'm like, because I have the lyrics open in front of me, and now I'm hearing this whole song is a Screeching Weasel song too. Like, because it kind of could be that, like, so hold on, all your aggressions. Like, because it's so simple melodically. And again, to be honest, that's what I always liked about Screeching Weasel is this, like, sometimes, like, just brutally simplistic melodies where you're like, could you not have changed one of those notes? But it's right. Sort of like what was so effective and minimalist about it, and obviously, like, made it very Ramonesy. And this song kind of has that. Like, it's certainly... Even outside of the guitar melody, I think if you were to sing it in your best Ben Weasel impression, which is impression number 2 for me, I'm always playing comedic catch up to you. I'm like, oh, we're doing impressions now?
Keeping score.
Make sure I get mine in. This sort of does sit in that mold, which is maybe also part of what keeps it from being like as good as a Dude Ranchero song.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get what the song is about, and I also kind of don't think that even in the 90s anyone was friends with a young girl whose name was Peggy Sue.
No one's ever been named Peggy Sue.
There's a Buddy Holly song called Peggy Sue, which kind of fucked up my search earlier.
It's a great song, too.
But it's very, like, this is a Buddy Holly-ass name. Which I guess, talking about everything being about the 50s, I guess that's true even of this era, was like they were always dressing like Leave It to Beaver and stuff.
But is using that name, which, like, as far as I know, and I have done no research on this, like, Peggy Sue must have been a name at some point, but effectively was sort of, like, cemented in popular culture by the Buddy Holly song. And so it's like this, sweet ode to your Peggy Sue, who you want and you need, if, in the case of Buddy Holly, like that it's sort of emblematic of a certain like idealized 50s youth culture. And this song is like sort of the flip side of that, of like trying to show this like internal angst, like you're grinding your teeth because you can't like please everyone or whatever.
Yeah,
And so it's an
mean,
attempt to create some sort of like dramatic tension or I don't know. Is that
Damn.
what it is?
Yeah, they're so smart and good. Even the design of
They're so
the cover
smart and good.
the cover of Cheshire Cat looks like some 1950s art, actually.
It's true, yeah. So they were on
There's
that
also
50
a
shit
song
before Robert
called-
Zemeckis.
There's also a song called Peggy Sue by Cobra Starship from 2011.
Oh,
so
how's that? Should we listen to that?
I don't. What if it's a cover of Buddy Holly?
Oh, right. Okay, well, let's find out. I can
Okay,
hear you
one sec.
tapping away.
Tapping.
I bet
All
it's
right,
going to
this
be fucking vibey.
Isn't 2011 a little late for Cobra Starship?
Yeah, this is for like the Cobra Starship comeback album.
This is a low budget ass video, dude.
Really? That's so sad.
If you knew Peggy Sue
Oh, this is a cover. This is a Buddy Holly cover.
without Peggy.
Okay, but this is Cobra Starship covering it?
Yeah, that's Cobra
What the
Starship covering
fuck?
Buddy Holly in 2011.
This is so weird, and I feel like it's shot in like 30 FPS. Like it looks very
Yeah, what is up with this?
documentarian.
Is this what happened to Cobra Starship? Like, this band was fucking huge.
One of them's wearing flip flops.
Like, this...
He's got a.
This looks so much worse than most of the, like, kind of spooky guitar covers that you play for me every week. It's so depressing. Like, if you had just played this for me, I would have been like, these fucking loser-ass white guys taking up space in their starship.
Oh God. Someone wrote producer's daughter as one of the comments, so do with that what you will, I guess.
Someone else wrote, Buddy Holly's music will never die.
I'm in love with this song. Whoever dislikes this needs to get their ears checked out. I mean, that is true. I probably should get my ears checked out because I'm having some difficulty hearing.
Oh, dude, yeah. You're a podcast host, by profession.
That's my tool of the
It's
trade.
what you need. How else are you going to know which, like, horrible
I mean, I'm not
videos
listening to
play
you
for?
ever,
It's
so
true.
it's fine.
You're not listening to the covers and you're not listening to me, actually, so it's fine.
I'm just a vessel.
Yeah, that's true. You're like, it was Beethoven who was deaf, right?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have an interpretation of the song? I didn't really think about the lyrics too much.
It just seemed like a very kind of generic, like, it sucks to be a teen.
But it is kind of cool that the perspective has changed where he's kind of, or maybe it's lame. I don't know. It's interesting at least that he's sort of describing someone else's situation instead of his own.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of that. You're right. Everything is always so personal.
But then maybe it becomes like prescriptive or like mansplaining to this sweet Peggy Sue.
That's true. This is actually cultural appropriation now.
I will say on Genius, I love the stock images that someone has added. Like, so the first lines, the annotation is, being a teenager can be pretty dire at times. You have so many expectations, and sometimes nothing you can do satisfies your parents. Tom relates to Peggy's turbulent home life and understands why she seems a bit unhinged. And then there's a picture of like a school teacher or something yelling into a megaphone to a girl who's on her iPhone.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Someone's got to give that kid a break.
There's got to be a more specific image you could find to go to this.
There's a much worse image later on in the bridge, which is like, it gets pretty turnstile-y in that bridge. It's like,
yeah.
not a great bridge. Probably could have used like a little bit more.
Hang on. We'll get to the bridge. There's a lot. There's actually a lot to say about the bridge.
The singing part of the bridge sucks. The instrumental part of the bridge fucking rules. But there's like the line about like walking barefoot down the street, which like personally I felt quite triggered by because it was disgusting. and then same thing. Someone's written like a thing about walking without your shoes on, and then they've attached this image of someone walking barefoot through the forest, and it's like fucking disgusting.
It's very show feet, sweetie.
Yeah.
Is this a foot fetish song? Maybe Peggy Sue has like a foot cam.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm going to look this up. Peggy Sue foot. I'm just looking at Peggy Sue foot. Peggy Sue panty foot fetish. Here we go. At Sue Panty. Oh, the page doesn't exist. Maybe they deleted it just in time.
Maybe that was a fan account that was created in real time.
Yeah. Did you know? Oh my God, Josiah. The inspiration for the Buddy Holly song Peggy Sue Jaron, passed away on October 2nd of this year.
Wow.
At the age of 78.
Which means that for her, middle age would have happened when she was whatever half of that number is.
Let's do that.
I don't know.
Little 78 to 39 years old is the answer to that particular math. Wow. Oh, good.
So 39. And that's the thing. I think when people talk about midlife crises, they're being very generous about how long they're going to live.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, when you're 50 and you're having a midlife crisis, it's like, no. Your midlife crisis should be happening right about now if you're 39.
Yeah, or when I was 18. That's why I was like so obsessed with being in a band.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It was my last chance. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Ashley?
Did you catch Sam looking at foot fetish websites right now?
She doesn't need to know about the foot fetish sites, Josiah. It's fine. Let's move on. Anyway, so R.I.P. to the original Peggy Sue, though. It's Peggy. It's so sad.
There's pretty good interpretations of the song on the songmeanings.com link that I sent you.
But is there any possible interpretation beyond being a teen sucks?
Well, someone wrote, the first time I heard this song, I cut myself shaving. What do you suppose that's about?
I don't know. I before you said shaving, I think the first time I heard the song, I cut myself, and I was like, "What?"
You're like, okay. First of all, I don't condone self mutilation, but there are far better Blink-182 songs for that sort of thing. Yeah, it was way too up tempo.
It's true. You want to wait till the self-untitled era, but
yeah.
Moving right along. I cut myself shaving. What do you think that means? I don't know, man. I don't think that means anything.
Or maybe everything means everything.
Yo. Good song.
Isn't that Lauryn Hill?
Yeah.
But further down, Blinking Glory 6 says, I don't really care what this song means. Oh, I am so bad. But this song is my theme song. The first time I heard it, I was like, no way. But this song explains exactly how I feel. But no matter what, and even if I don't rebel, even if I do as my mother, also known as Satan, says, I always don't do enough or I don't do good enough. And I hate the lectures.
I like this one. You just gotta blast this song when you're grounded. Anyway, when I am Ed at my parents', which would be 24/7, this is the song that vents my anger. I love the part about wanting to take off your shoes because my mom swears I'm going to cut my feet open on a random smashed beer bottle on the sidewalk or something. Yeah, well, that's a chance I'm willing to take, especially during this summer. And that's from
There's definitely
Punk Rock
a junior.
Girl 92.
There was definitely a junior high era where I loved walking around outside barefoot.
What?
Very briefly.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, very briefly.
You were like free the feet. What's that movement called? Of people that want to be able to buy groceries without any fucking shoes on. You disgusting slobs.
Being a slob is very tight.
Sorry, I don't mean to be down on slobs. Slobbery is fine. It's just keep your shoes on. Slobs is all.
Sometimes the ultimate naughtiness is going outside just with socks on and then getting nasty socks and then not taking them off inside.
That is not ultimately naughty. It's ultimately just wrong, Josiah. Nothing naughty about it.
Okay, here's one from Confusion89. This is posted February 16th, 2005. First, Peggy Sue is a kick-ass song. I remember this girl, we had a thing going, and she had a really fucked up family and all. But anyways, that was where that sentence ended right there.
Okay.
All that was one sentence. Things never really worked out between us. But how this song is connected to her? Well, she never really figured out what she wanted to do when she wanted to grow up. And she's a senior this year. And last time I talked to her, she said she'd going to join the army, showing how parents fuck up their children. But the song talks about Tom comforting one of his friends when the friend's parent tell how they're fucking up all the time and such. Pretty simple meaning, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Going off to join the army. Hey, when you had that, like, army tweet go viral, did any, like, troops retweet it or reach out to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, quite a few troops retweeted it. So if anyone hasn't seen it, I found these... It was actually quite intense. I was trying to make art for our controversial guest, Brace Belden, for that episode. Yeah. So I was like, I searched
Are we
to see if there's...
trying to make art, Josiah?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Are you one of the commenters from songmeanings.com?
Yeah, I'm Punk Rock Girl 92.
So I was Google image searching like Blink-182 Army, and then I found these stock photos of an army man playing guitar, and it said that he was playing All the Small Things for High School, and I was like, oh my God, I need to find a video of this. So then I found the Vimeo link, and then I had to figure out how to rip Vimeo. It took like an hour, wow. But the payoff was so sweet.
Yeah,
because it went crazy, and a whole bunch of troops were retweeting it, and like former troops who were like now hate the army and stuff. And they're like, yeah, this is fucked. Like there's like a guy who like has a podcast about how war is bad. I know that's not a very Sam opinion because you love troops.
I support all troops.
But yeah, it did. There was a lot of troops getting involved. And there was someone even who replied and said something like, oh, fuck, I can't remember. I'm actually going to find it. Vamp for a second.
Do you think, like, because I guess where I was, like, kind of going with that is we know just from personal experience of being on tour that, you know, bands listen to pods. And so in the summer, you were kind of asking any bands that were listening to the pod on the road to kind of send us shit or whatever. We got a couple of like funny videos of people like punishing their band members with episodes. But like what I wonder is like, do troops listen to pods like when they're like cruising? So is there a battalion somewhere in...
Yeah, like if you're a troop who's listening, send us a video of the pod on while you're just like firing off your service weapon in the air.
Yeah, and we'll send you pins or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but this was the reply that haunted me the most. It was so funny. I don't even understand. This person, Jay Chrisman 72 replied. So the tweet just says war is hell, and then there's like really dorky troops playing All the Small Things to a gym. Which I also didn't. I posted it with like a neutral thing, but then a lot of people started pointing out how this is like a way that they indoctrinate kids into joining the army. So it is actually quite dark in that sense.
Yeah. Wow.
But this person, Jay Chrisman 72, replied to Blink-155 pod and said, "It's a shame." It's a shame that in all your years of service, you didn't learn anything about troop morale.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Like, I thought it was someone being ironic or something, but it absolutely was real.
But do they think that you're a troop?
Yeah, because I said something like, "Thank you for recognizing my service," and they're like, "You're welcome." Like, I don't understand.
Are you stealing pop punk valor right now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I said something like, "Okay, thank you for recognizing my years of service." They wrote, "No problem. Just have an issue with former/current members bashing on the jobs of others. As you're well aware, every soldier, sailor, airman is part of the mission."
What?
Is this real? Oh,
dude, that's weird, man.
Honestly, the more time I just become absorbed into the internet, the more I enjoy life.
Really? That's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you.
I think that like psycho-libertarian tech people refer to real life as the meat space.
Are you starting to see that? As like...
I'm slowly getting ready to ascend past the meat space.
I'm so happy for you. Was it people thinking that you had served that finally tipped you over? Where you're like, on the internet, everyone's a troop.
Yeah, exactly.
New Yorker cartoon of this podcast.
All right, let's listen to the Mark, Tom, and Travis show version.
Yeah, man, let's.
It sounds like a long lost Blink-182 song.
Yeah, it's weird how different that one is with Travis drumming on it.
Everyone seems to love that one way more, and a lot of the covers that we're going to talk about for a long time are also kind of related to that.
Yeah, like I hate to deviate from our set roles as like kind of Scott boosters, but it's also a function of like how that album was recorded, and it's just like a kind of sloppier, dirtier record, which is like mostly part of the appeal. But I think like at least by tightening it, because again, like the song itself is like so like it's fucking great, but it's like more almost great, I guess. And by at least kind of like tightening it up and giving it that like kind of sheen, I think it disguises some of the songwriting weaknesses that are more apparent when it's a little slower and a little sloppier. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that could be true. It makes me kind of wish that they took more songs from Cheshire Cat and slicked them up a little.
I mean, be careful what you wish for, because there are a lot of bands doing that. Like, we've recorded our entire first album again because we don't own the masters.
Yeah. MXPX did that with Life in General.
Did they actually?
Yeah, I think it's to do with Tooth and Nail being greedy. But that's a whole pod for a whole other day.
That's not very Christian of them.
Well, it is and it isn't, Sam.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like Christian in an organizational sense, but it's not Christian in the core teaching sense, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, man. Look, I've done 75 episodes of this show with you, man. I know a lot about Christianity now.
I'm so glad that you're a born again Christian now.
Yeah.
So good.
That's it.
Well, here's the thing about everything that we're talking about here, which is to say a couple things. So there's plenty of videos of them playing it with Scott. They're all wonderful. People don't need to go through us playing 5 Scott videos again and being like, "Oh, it's so good. I'm just like so happy about this." That's like my impression of us.
I don't disagree with you, but like, since when are you addicted to brevity? It's just
I'm not. There's a few other angles we can hit this from.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So, the bridge, we're going to talk about it more in the covers, but the thing about the bridge that's pretty interesting is that they did use it as like a section to be like, "Thanks for coming out tonight."
Oh, that's the like, "I'm Tom, this is Mark, and that's Travis, and we are Blink-182.
Yeah, exactly. So there's plenty of those interesting things, and I guess I couldn't find it. I didn't look too hard because I was working while I was doing this research, so I didn't look too hard. But I guess Mark used to sing "No Scrubs" sometimes in the bridge.
That's cool.
It's like kind of a fun, zany thing. It's weird to think about how that used to be a thing and now it doesn't really happen anymore.
Like pop bands singing like R&B or rap songs, like.
I guess because there is no rock music at all anymore and it's just only pop.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. It's just like, and if you are a rock act, you can't cede any of your time to pop or R&B because it's precious rock time.
Right. Yeah, and so I guess the joke would be gone also.
Yeah, you wouldn't be like isn't this funny? No Scrubs? You guys know this song?
If Foo Fighters were like in the breakdown of one of their awful songs where it started singing "Thank You Next," it would just be a bunch of like 45-year-old men ripping their shirts off and screaming in agony.
But like I think
plugging their flannel shirts into their ears to try to escape the agony of the pop.
Also, that was at a time where like presumably it was like, oh, do you get it? Like No Scrubs is something that other people listen to, but you probably don't because you're a punk. Whereas like I saw a video a couple of years ago of Bruce Springsteen covering Royals by Lorde, and it was like just a completely sincere, like him at a festival just doing Lorde, and it's like he wasn't being funny. He wasn't like, yeah, hey, you want to hear me do a pop song? It was like, this song rules. I'm gonna do it, and it was tight.
Yeah, I guess the punk thing is why it's that's what makes it like sort of subversive. Like, see, we know about things that aren't just punk.
Well,
we're not like we're not like these bands that we're opening for who are all fucking wet blankets.
It's I mean, I don't want to sort of undercut our point here, but I think the Punk Goes Pop compilations are still being churned out at a frightening pace.
Yeah, that's something we should do a podcast about. But the pop punk and ska covers of yesteryear were really something special. There was a
Totally.
band. I've been talking about Abbotsford nonstop lately because I've run out of things to talk about. But there was a band
You
growing
always
up
come
from
home,
youth.
you know?
There was a pop punk band from youth group that was one of those bands that like ended up changing members 50 times and then ended up being like some sort of fake AFI kind of band. They're called Martial Law. But before they became a fake AFI, they were just like completely different lineup, a bunch of dorky youth group kids, and they used to cover My Heart Will Go On, but like pop punk style. And I remember when I was like 13, it was the greatest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember having entire, like, mix CDs of just, like, and you wouldn't even know who the band was. Like, it was just, like, ska cover of, you know, Video Killed the Radio Star. Ska cover of Peggy Sue by Buddy Holly. And it was sick. Like that,
Yeah.
that, like, and they were all like 32 kilobyte MP3s. Like the hi-hats just sounded like a fucking bottle of water.
Is it, the Mustard Plug cover of The Freshman? That's just
so
incredible.
Good. So
better
good.
than the original song.
I mean, that's not true,
yeah,
but like it certainly stands alone. That's fine.
I think it's better than all songs, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of sad, I guess, because we've broken down the barriers. I guess what I'm saying is that as we become more accepting to one another, despite our differences, we lose something.
Right. So you're kind of proposing.
I mean,
I just want to make sure that I'm getting this 100% clear here.
I think we can read between the lines
Okay.
and know that I'm.
Yeah. That you're not anti anything, but you're about preserving something. Is that like a future?
And keep in mind, this is me, Sam, saying this right now. Sam Sutherland saying this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Saying these
but anyways-
words. How many words do you feel like you're on the verge of saying right now, Josiah? 11, 12, 13. How many words here?
Yeah, that's George Carlin, right?
Right, George. You got to be very careful because George Carlin had the 13 words, and then you don't want to add any words though. That's where you get into trouble.
Anyways, what was I saying?
No fucking
The break
idea.
part is where they say all this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this video from 1996. There's two very interesting things about it, and I can't remember which one comes first. So I'm just gonna play this, and we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Check it out. All the bands tonight are having a big after party. I'm not supposed to say what it is, but I'll let you guys know. Just don't tell anybody else, okay? Promise? Okay. We're having a big party. This place over on Pennsylvania Avenue, number 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Big ass party over there tonight. We're having a competition. Who has the most realistic looking squirt gun? Chocolate squirt gun. You got 'em.
It's really hard to hear, but I don't know if you caught that.
No, it was hard to hear over here.
Mark said, "I'm not supposed to tell anyone this, but just promise to keep this a secret between us. But all the bands tonight are having a huge house party." And then he like gives the address.
Like, so how big a show is this video from?
It doesn't really say.
But what year is it? Is this like an amp?
It's 96.
Oh, okay. So
it's 96. There's a big Vans logo behind them. I mean, it's big enough that he just invited so many people to a house party.
that's so sick. We got to find someone who made it to that house party.
I know. I can't even, like, this upload is so bad. It doesn't even say where it was or anything. But the other thing that's interesting
Blink
is
182, 1996 house party Warped Tour.
maybe
If it's got a Vans logo and it's the 90s, I don't know.
it could be. But anyways, in addition to that, which I think is just fantastic, the other thing is at the very start, Tom plays the break differently usually, but in this particular instance, his guitar solo, I'm going to play it again.
Check it out. All the bands tonight are having
Oh, that's too. There we go.
Yeah.
He
So it's
literally
the I'm
plays the
sorry
in.
riff, right? Or is that
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, if someone thinks that he had already written "I'm Sorry" at that point, and was referencing it, or maybe he just accidentally did it.
Did
but
we
he
do I'm sorry
doesn't.
yet?
Oops. I'm sorry, what? No, we didn't. Because think of what that intro will be like. Oh, my God. It's going to not even be a joke. We're just going to sincerely apologize for something.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to, like, what's, like, the part of Christianity where is it Lent? Is that where you apologize?
I don't know.
God damn it.
The whole thing.
It's just a lot
to have humility,
of apologizing.
Motherfucker. Yeah.
Right, sorry, well.
There you go. You did it. See? You're a Christian.
I've crossed over, man. I'm there.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just kind of a little interesting thing where he played that riff that time.
I kind of appreciate how much, like, that kind of exists in their history. All of this, like, riffs that are sort of being experimented and sort of improved upon. That, like, you accidentally have kind of this sort of, like, songwriting history sort of unfolding in the background of other pieces. Because I feel like it's been like multiple songs that we've uncovered or other people have uncovered, and you have then found their uncoverings of like, here's them playing this riff 10 years beforehand, but it's like kind of different and it's sick.
Yeah,
I like
I know
it.
it's cool, and it's just hard to know like what was going on in his mind. Was he just like, oh, this feels so fun to play, I can't stop playing this riff, and then he turned it into a song? Because he did very clearly change the riff on the recordings. So I don't know. It's something to think about, I suppose.
That's a little bon mot there. I appreciate that, Josiah.
So Sam, you're someone who has an IMDb page.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and you haven't even you don't even have a photo.
I think you got to pay for the photos.
I mean, well, yeah, but obviously if you have an IMDb page, you're gonna get a photo on there.
Yeah,
just pay.
How much does it cost?
Just pay. I don't know. This can't be that much.
Does Sarah have an IMDb page with her photo?
I don't know. I think so, but I'm just saying.
She has so much IMDb gear too. I don't know if people realize this, but like you and Sarah, or maybe it's mostly Sarah, are like huge IMDb heads. And I feel like every year you go to Sundance, you post so many photos of you guys.
There's something about IMDb is the funniest. Like, it's such a shitty logo and such a dumb name for a website, and the fact that they like throw these branded IMDb parties where they have like IMDb cookies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucked. I know she did briefly have the photo of her wearing her IMDb gear was her IMDb photo, but you're not allowed to wear logos, so they deleted it.
Oh, that's good. So it appears that Sarah does not have a photo on her IMDb page, but perhaps we can use this as an opportunity to promote the short Trope. Which is on her IMDb
that's
page.
A thing. Another thing on her IMDb page that's pretty cool is that she acted in the movie Revenge of Bigfoot in 1979 and played someone's wife.
Wow, Sarah,
it's so weird. They police that kind of thing where they delete the IMDb photo, but then they don't.
It's interesting as well because when she acted in Revenge of Bigfoot in 1979, she hadn't yet married you and changed her name, so she is only billed as Sarah Hughes, not Sarah Jean Hughes.
Not to mention she wasn't alive yet at that point.
A lot of trouble here. Did you work on Trope? I can't remember. You did, right?
Yeah, I did, but she already had an IMDb for like real reasons.
Yeah, but Trope is like an amazing short film that, I mean, I think you posted when it came out this year, but in case like people missed that, you should post it again. It was so fucking good.
It's somewhere.
It's really fucking funny.
Find it.
Yeah. So it's,
you know the problem. You know what else is the thing?
Sarah's like writing, like she wrote and directed that short, and it's good.
Yeah, I agree, and I helped. So,
whatever.
Come on,
but I
was going to say, it's this time of year where everyone loves to be like, here's a thread of all the shit that I did this year. And, like, I kind of want to do it because there's stuff I want to brag about, but it's so gross.
Is it, though? Because here's the thing. Like, I get it. But if you follow someone whose, like, creative output you enjoy, I don't see everything that, like, writers that I like do. Like, I don't see every Ashley Feinberg thing. I don't see every, like, Amanda Hess fucking New York Times video or whatever. And so, like...
It is so honorable that you only mentioned women.
I didn't see all of the who's like a really problematic man. Elon Musk tweets. I don't fucking know. But like, so I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, presumably people who follow you on the internet, Josiah, are like, they're Josiah stans.
Oh God, I'm gonna puke.
They might only be familiar, say, with the pod, or maybe they're only
Why don't you?
familiar with prenup or something.
Then you make a thread of things that I did.
Okay, hold on. So I'll make a thread for you, and you make a thread for me. And
no, I don't want to make it. The other problem is whenever I try to like recommend anything sincerely, it does not work at all.
Oh yeah, recommendations get no traction.
But I just think that the thread of shit I accomplished this year is pretty gross. I don't know. Real heads know, or they don't, or they. We'll do a tweet thread when I die. How about?
Okay, that's the only time to do it. I mostly agree with you, but I think people whose work you just like, here are the things I'm the most proud of, and you're like, oh shit, I missed that. And also B, I think for people who are like still, like especially like people who are like newer to the game, and they're doing short films, or they're writing. I mean this, and I think it's like nice sometimes for them to kind of catalog and say like, I haven't.
True.
Like I think there's something probably that's like meant like good for you spiritually to do that, especially if you're still kind of like very much on the come up.
Yeah.
Like there's people that I would hate to see it from. I get what you're saying, but I'm just trying to.
I'm not doing the thread. Anyways,
well,
where I was getting with this,
for you. It's fine.
As someone with an IMDb, I'm curious, since you're a big time film guy, what I've just sent you here from Reddit, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
This is the elevator pitch.
Okay. Oh my God. Do you want me to read it? It's just because the word triggers me. So the title of this post is Blink fans, I need help and ideas. And I think it's important to note that help and ideas are both capitalized for a screenplay I'm looking to write. This is the post. So I'm a screenwriting hobbyist and also a Blink-182 fan, and I'm looking to write a feature-length screenplay revolving around Blink-182. The story will be fictional, and I'm thinking that it will be a comedy with similar humor to American Pie. So, I mean, this person has only watched movies that feature Blink-182.
I mean, so far that's a great idea for a movie, in my opinion.
And in one paragraph, they've spelled Blink-182 both with and without the dash. So they were really like, they weren't sure what to do, and they just figured they'd split the difference, and one of them would be right.
Thankfully, when you're screenwriting, usually that stuff's spoken out loud, so the inconsistencies don't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah. So, and this is, I believe, is sort of a summary of their idea. A man unhappy with his unfaithful girlfriend rekindles a relationship with a former girlfriend and his past self. Obviously, this is in the early stages, and I think this idea will help me guide the way. Oh, that's the idea. Okay. I'd like to name the characters off of names referenced in Blink songs like Holly and Peggy Sue. Does anyone have any more names to add to the list? Also, what are some of your favorite lines from Blink songs? I plan on having the characters use a lot of lines from actual songs, especially some of the deeper, lovey-dovey, and depressing ones. Edits based on responses below. Characters. Main character. Adam. Love interest. Josiah. Antagonist.
No, Josie. It says Josie.
Oh. Sorry. No, that was deeply, deeply Freudian. So Adam's the love interest. Adam is the main character. Josie is the love interest. The antagonist, who's Josie's D-bag boyfriend, is Gary. The unfaithful girlfriend is Holly. The best friend is Ben. Another best friend is Wendy, and the therapist's name is Peggy Sue. And then other names, Sally.
I love how they came up with an idea that could almost be a fun, straight-to-VOD pop-punk movie.
Yeah.
He's fed up with his cheating girlfriend, so he decides to go date the wild card from college, and then she's still really into pop punk, and then he like revisits his pop punk phase. But then this person's idea is that like all of the talking and characters are all just like lifted from the lyrics.
Well, it's like Mamma Mia. Like it's just they're just gonna have everyone sort of speak in Blink lyrics. All I've got is this guy, bend over.
I'm sitting here up in my tree.
So do we know if this movie got made? I mean, I know this is only an 11-month-old post from
Oh yeah,
Shutout 69.
It's in pre-production right now.
I would definitely throw some money towards the Indiegogo for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I had a lot of money, I would love to start funding terrible movies that I find on Indiegogo.
Oh, yeah.
It's just sort of to make them happen. Because I do still think that bad movies are better than kind of good movies, obviously.
Yeah, completely.
So, I don't know. I mean, I just thought it'd be good to get your expertise on this. Maybe this can appear under your production credits on your IMDb.
Well, I mean, I can only hope to one day have this listed in my IMDb credits. Perhaps I'll get some IMDb swag to go along with it, like a toque, some gloves.
Really, we need to try one of those cookies. We can't get our hands on those cookies. The thing is, we haven't ever made it into the IMDb party. We've just had people get us swag before.
So you have like people on the inside who are bringing you all the like gloves and shit.
Yeah, Sarah
from the
has
party?
like an IMDb insider getting the swag.
That's sick.
Just like if you're gonna like make a big flashy party, just don't call your company IMDb and have like such a horrible utilitarian looking logo.
It's really bad. Are you guys going to Sundance again this year?
No comment, because there are people in the nation who live in Salt Lake City.
Oh, are there Mormons in the nation?
I don't know if there's Mormons or not.
Well, they're
but
definitely Mormon.
There's one particular person who
Oh,
who's demanding I hang out with him at Sundance.
Got it, man.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Let's move on along to covers.
You know, just before we move to covers, I just watched a documentary about friend of the pod, but really your friend, Josiah, Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch that doc.
His documentary, Believer, and I just want to say, I mean, I already like was
You make me a believer.
like it's
That sounds
song
sick.
fucking jams. It's a great movie. Like it's a really great. It's the guy that made Last Days Here. So like you go.
What's that?
It's the movie about the singer of Pentagram. I can't remember his fucking name. Don Argott is the filmmaker.
Yeah.
But it's like you go from making this like tragic metal biopic to the Imagine Dragons guy movie, and I mean, already, I was obviously sort of on Team Dan Reynolds based on how insanely cool he's been to you and to us. But there's obviously, you know, the festival that they've been putting on in Utah, in Provo, not in Salt Lake City, but the work that he's been doing on behalf of sort of trying to sort of advance LGBTQ issues inside of the Mormon Church, which, like, you know, many religions is still kind of a little backwards. And it's just like, what a fucking good dude, man. That guy's the best.
He's cool, and it's crazy because that premiered at Sundance when I was there last year, when Tom was also there. So it's really, the Sundance is just Blink-155 Fest.
It's totally.
It's all coming together.
Well, I hope you're able to make a return to
year.
our festival. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked that you don't ever show up, but it's kind of, I guess, par for the course at this
Again,
point.
I'm aloof, man. That's my character now.
Yeah, character. So, here's the first cover. And it's not a cover at all. It's just something that popped up a bunch of times. And this is a band called Peggy Sue and the Pirates, and it's a song called Pupils Blink. So that was Peggy Sue and the Pirates. It sounded to me like if Lily Allen was covering Gogol Bordello.
That's a very accurate description. Yeah, that was great. That was much better than the Blink song, for sure.
From Brighton.
Oh, from Brighton.
The band has toured with a number of well-known indie artists, including Mumford & Sons, who I have decided to like. That's my next bit of working on myself, is I'm just going to like Mumford & Sons now.
Wow. Did you watch them on SNL this weekend and you were just...
I did, and I was just like,
converted?
I mean, they're all embarrassing except for Marcus Mumford. There's something about him that I kind of like, so I've just decided that I'm going to like him.
There's something Dan Reynoldsy about him. I can see why you would be sort of drawn to him.
Yeah, exactly. The other guys are all fucking terrible dorks, and they're the ones who met with Jordan Peterson. So fuck those guys.
Wait, was it all the other dudes except for Marcus that met with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, he clarified in an interview that he wasn't there or something.
Wow.
He was, and the other guys were like, "Look, we just want to hear all sides from everyone." It's just like, fuck off, get out of here, you nerds.
Yo, those are some garbage sons, Marcus Mumford.
Yeah, get rid of them. Get some new sons in there. It's time for some new sons.
Yeah, that's it. Trade him out. Time for new sons.
Yeah, but I don't know. He looks pretty cuddly. I'm kind of into him. I kind of want to cuddle Marcus Mumford.
He's definitely...
That's my goal for 2019.
Maybe he'll be at Blink-155 Fest in Utah.
Yeah, well, he might be, because obviously his wife is a very successful actor, Carey Mulligan.
Oh, I didn't know that he was married to Carey Mulligan. That's good for them.
And they actually met at Bible camp. So it's really just time to be friends with them.
So you've already...
It's just time.
It's just... There's just no other options, yeah.
All right. It's been a while since we've seen someone play drums outside, and I really love it.
I have been missing this, yeah.
I really wish that this became like a recording technique, because it sounds so good. Like, why are people trying to get the best mic placement? Just fucking go outside and record drums on an iPhone.
You know, maybe this is going to be like a moment, because it always feels like there's nothing else. There's nothing new under the sun, and then someone comes up with like a new way of doing things, and so you might be really
quite literally under the sun outside.
Yeah, exactly. There's one new thing under the sun.
Okay, so yeah, this is by Xav Barker, XAV. This was uploaded in 2007. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that like anything existed before a year ago is always kind of shocking to me. Like, this happened in 2013? What the fuck was that about?
Exactly. He has this nice intro.
It's a good song.
Was that Perfect Circle?
No, that's Maynard singing over top of a Deftones song. It's a Deftones song.
You're a cool club and you're not part of it. Sounds so snappy outside.
It's just, you can feel the sunshine. It's a sunshiny song, and you want to just be sort of capturing that vibe as completely and honestly as possible, and that's what this cover does.
Although I feel like he might actually be miking the drums, because there's a whole mixing board and everything amongst the plants.
It's just like up against this like vine covered wall.
This is some fucking Devendra Banhart shit, but with like pop punk.
Yeah,
it's great.
He's got a sweet goatee too. I like this guy.
It's really good. Okay, I didn't really have time to like map out how I was going to play these, but just to give you a little spoiler, there are basically no actual covers that were worth playing. It's mostly just like people doing either the guitar or drum. Like, it's that kind of vibe, but we're in for a real journey here, so I'm excited.
Great.
I'm going to start easy because I just want to talk about how fucking cool this guy is. He's so cool. This is also from 2007. This is POB 123. He's playing like a Kramer guitar or something, or some like shitty metal guitar. He's got a shiny chain. And the thing is, when I was in London, I bought a chain and I was ready to become a chain guy and just wear a chain all the time, and then I lost it.
Oh.
So now I need to get it. I was like so committed to it being part of my identity to have a chain
That would be
and
cool.
It's gone.
I I was working with somebody on something, and their chain popped out of their shirt, and I don't know why, because I wasn't even drunk. I was like, nice chain, and they were like, thanks, man. I never really thought I could pull it off, but I'm really happy that I have it now. And I was like, cool, yeah, no, it's a really good chain.
Yeah, I think and I've seen people on Twitter talking about wearing chains lately too. And I was like an early adopter while I was in London, and I lost my chain. So
that sucks.
In fact, I might have lost it in Brighton, maybe.
Oh, well, if anybody in Brighton has seen Josiah's chain, if you can send it to
please
him.
let me know.
Yeah,
but this guy's chain looks really nice. I can't figure out what his shirt says. I feel like even sitting down, I can tell that he's wearing Jinkos.
Yeah, he sort of looks like this is how Ben Cook basically dresses now. Like Ben Cook always has a cool chain.
And like an ironic guitar that's also cool somehow.
Yeah.
And this is just what it's. I mean, it's not even worth playing about. He's just sort of like strumming in such a casual way that does not match his badass look at all.
No. Yeah, there's also a big parental advisory sticker on it, like a Billabong sticker. This guitar is cool as shit, man.
What's that skull from? It looks so familiar to me.
It looks like a cross between the Stormtroopers of Death Skull, but then it also looks like it's wearing a beret. So I honestly don't know. I don't immediately recognize it because it's basically a beret, like problematic thrash logo.
Right, yeah. Okay. That's about right. So this one, speaking of the troops, this one's from 2009, but it's even worse quality. But I love what this person is wearing. They're just wearing a bright red t-shirt that just says Marines on it.
They've got some sick tribal tats too.
Is that Marines merch, or is that like fan made?
Do you think it's bootleg?
Because I feel like I've never seen the Marines have that cool of a logo. It looks kind of like the Marlboro logo.
It's kind of fucked up that like you would buy something that said the Marines, but not like give your money to the Marines.
Bootleg Marines merch. I'm into
just
that.
Just like right outside of the like recruitment station, there's like guys selling shirts $10 cheaper.
Oh hell yeah! This is my new plan.
It's just sell.
Now that I've uncovered the troops,
right? Yeah, because this is it. You've sort of reached that audience, and now you have to monetize it.
Exactly, that's all it is.
So definitely troop merch is for sure in your future.
So this man wearing this Marines shirt is named Vans Freak with 2 E's.
Ooh, yeah.
And this is called the crappy cover of Peggy Sue by Blink-182. And I would say this is probably about 180 pixels. It's very pixely.
It's a little generous with your pixel count for sure.
I just hand counted them. Do like it a lot, actually.
What I like is that there's people really like boosting him in the comments. So Grayson Goose says, "Hey, it's not a crappy cover, it's good, but your right hand looks like it's jacking off a censored penis."
Well, speaking of comments, this one I don't even think is worth playing for the audio, but just read the comments on it. This is a nice looking boy. He's playing the song well enough. His username is some rad punk. Sure, he's in a messy basement.
I mean, he's just in his parents'
what?
basement. That's all.
He's wearing a Guinness T-shirt. That's like a sort of. For some reason, I feel like wearing a Guinness T-shirt was like the first. It's pathetic to wear a Guinness T-shirt if you're like a grown man, but if you're a teen, it's sort of your first taste of like being alt somehow.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know why.
Well, because it's like there's the like mainstream. You're like, oh, Coors, or whatever, Budweiser, and then Guinness. You're like, ooh, it's so beefy and strange.
It tastes bad. And I dare to drink it.
Yeah, like I can only have one of these, and then I want to go to sleep. That's interesting.
But anyways, I don't know. He's playing his heart out. He was playing pretty good when I heard the audio. But the comment, this is from 2011. The comment and this kid's name is some rad punk. But the comment from Nick213XXX 7 years ago. I hope that Nick213XXX has really done some soul searching since then.
That's fucking rude, man.
Because he wrote, LOL, dude, I'm your first view. So weird. I was just searching the song. Then your shitty version came up. And clean your basement. And work on the lip syncing, Britney.
What? This guy sucks.
That's such a... Also, like, 7 years ago is not long ago enough for that to be a comment. Like, to say, watch the lip syncing, Britney. That's like a 1997
Really
thing to say.
sticking it to Britney.
Yeah. Like, lip syncing is cool now, basically.
Also, sorry, Vans Freak, the Marine, now has a band called Sloppy Job, and they did a full band cover of Peggy Sue.
I had written that one down.
But you didn't
I did
necessarily
not
realize the
it was...
connection.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so maybe we should watch that now while it's
okay. Yeah,
while it's
I mean,
fresh.
I'd like to know which one is Vans Freak.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can figure it out.
I think he's the singer because I've looked at his other videos now. I'm a real Vans Freak.
Vans Freak. All right. Well, this is Vans Freak, Sloppy Job, their cover of Peggy Sue, and they also rap Bo Burnham lines, I guess, in it. But we're not going to make it that far, I don't think. Wow, they're actually pretty good.
Yo, they're sick. And also, look at their Facebook. They're, like, amazingly punk. Like, Sloppy Job is my favorite band now. Like, Sloppy Job is the only good pop-punk band not from Indonesia.
Now I support the Marines.
Yeah, it's true. Finally, welcome to my side.
Do you think he was a Marine for real, or was he just wearing that Marines shirt?
Like, based on the age of these kids, I'm pretty sure he was just wearing the shirt. But I don't know. I don't want to rob anyone of their valor.
Well, hey, if there's valor for the taking,
I know that's the thing. Is like I'm leaving it there for you to just snatch.
Yeah, that was pretty sick, though. Also, again, the video. This one was shot. I want to say about 60 frames per second. It looks like it was being shot with the intention of doing some slow motion work.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. Maybe I should join the Marines. Am I allowed?
Yeah. I feel like they need all the help they can get, man.
What do they do again? Just like boat stuff?
Yeah, they boat and they cover.
It's
Blink.
like a yacht club. That's it. Yeah. Basically,
it's basically a yacht club with Blink covers.
Okay, so there's two micro genres that I've discovered in these covers. So I'm gonna start with the sort of lesser one. Let's start with this shirtless guy. He's. I don't know why he said. Yeah, I don't know why he said "It Hurts" intro. I don't know what that means. But this is by Noob 182. Also in 2007, this song was very popular in 2007 with dudes who wanted to show off that they kind of know how to play guitar. He's written, my first cover, played and recorded a few months after getting my first guitar. I screwed up a few times. I'm using a very crappy 15-watt amp. Also, sorry for the darkness, but it was a very bright day, so I had my curtains closed. Thanks for that. But yeah, he's just, the main thing I'm pointing out is that he's a shirtless guy.
It Hurts is an Angels and Airwaves song.
Oh, so maybe, but it doesn't sound like he's playing that right now.
No, I don't really understand.
But what I do love about these videos is that they're not playing to a backing track or like playing with anyone. It's just like from memory, shittily switching through the chords. But anyways, that guy was shirtless, which makes him go really well with this guy who is completely naked.
I was hoping you were going to be like bottomless, and together they're dressed appropriately.
No, but this guy's naked, and like it really does seem like he's truly naked. Like you can see the side of his thigh. It seems like his little dinky is gonna poke out any minute
It's making
now.
me really nervous because like the cutout in the guitar just feels like it's kind of right where his dick kind of should be at a few points, and it's
Yeah, I feel like it's very I bet you. So this username is Nude Blink. It's like he started the whole
that's his whole
account,
thing.
but he only ever did this video.
That's so sad. Like, imagine being like, I got a big idea. I've registered the account. He made a banner. There's a banner that says Nude Blink Dude on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This has 1,000 views. Like,
Okay, I've just sort of skimmed through it, and I don't think there's any point where it peaks out.
not even a peaky.
But there's some sort of who's on the poster behind him at the start. What does that say?
Sorry, I
Blunt?
was too busy trying to look at his dick.
Yeah, there's no. I'm just saying there's some sort of. Oh no, that's not that poster. There's a band, anyways, who's
Yeah.
like perfectly lined up so that they're peeking out from his thighs. It's really funny.
Fucking, I have no idea.
It almost looks like Ronnie Radke. I don't know. Someone's peeking out from right between his legs. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say except that someone wrote, "Please tell me that you're wearing some underwear."
Aw.
I mean, why? Let him be naked. Who gives a shit?
I like just that someone wrote "classic Blink." Like, they're just like this is cool.
It is true. It is very classic Blink in that it's just like a nothing of an idea, but just being naked is enough to make it
You know what?
worth doing.
Being naked is enough, Josiah.
Sometimes being naked is enough. I like that he's piled his clothes behind him, so that you know, like he owns clothes.
Yeah.
But he's not wearing them. They're right there. He could put them on any fucking minute if he wants.
He's also got cleaning products behind him, so you know, like, that it smells good in this room. You know, like, you're not like, oh, he took his clothes off and maybe there's like a stale odor.
some ass smell,
Ass or ball smell.
Yeah, some ball. Yeah,
But, like, obviously, Nude Blink Dude has clean balls.
he looks like a pretty clean cut. Like even just his body, I'm like, this guy takes care of himself.
Yeah, truly.
You know what I mean?
He's got a well-kempt bod. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
I even
unnecessarily
feel like
cut. It's not like I'm not threatened by it, but but I'm like I'm happy to be looking at it, you know?
It looks groomed even, like the treasure trail from
Yeah.
the belly button down. It looks fairly groomed.
Yeah. But not aggressively groomed. Again, not like he's not putting in too much time, but he's putting in enough time to let you know that he cares. To let you know that he knew he was going to be recording a nude Blink-182 cover.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened, why he would have given up so early.
I know. This is 1,000 views. It's like a brand new YouTube channel. Like, that's good, man.
Well, it's not. It's from 2013. It's accumulated 1,000 views in 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's actually not very good at all.
Well, I mean, look. Nude Blink Dude, I encourage you to follow your dreams despite Josiah's negativity.
Maybe he like took this idea a step further and got on some sites where he didn't have to cover everything
That's
up so
interesting.
much.
I'm going to go on Pornhub right now and search Nude Blink Dude.
Like what? I wonder what's the intellectual property rules about that on like cam. If he was like a cam boy, would he be allowed to cover a Blink song, or would they not get their compensation?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think in general, because there's been this very kind of like sarcastic move of like people who are getting banned on YouTube moving over to those sites. So they all technically like have copyright protections, but they don't really enforce them. It's like part of what is killing that industry, in fact. And I suspect that if you were to be a nude Blink performer and you wanted to take that act over to a cam site or a hub site, you would do quite well. And I don't know that you'd have the same content ID restrictions that exist on the traditional non-porn websites.
But that would mean then that Blink-182 is missing out on that sweet, sweet pay.
Well, it's true. At that point, you are robbing Blink of their...
They gotta eat.
They gotta eat.
I mean,
have you seen... Travis Barker's very skinny.
this is just a show where we rate men's bodies now.
Yeah.
For some reason.
For some fucking reason. I get opinions, man.
All right. Well, this is what I've really been leading up to. This is very exciting for me. I can't wait to show you this. What are some songs that have like, you know, there's the Black Beatles thing, or the Harlem Shake, or what are some other songs where they've inspired these like viral dance things? There was the Drake one.
Yeah, In
was
My
that earlier
Feelings,
this year?
yeah.
Yeah, there's all these things like It's kind of funny that there's not a catch-all phrase for them yet, other than like viral dance craze. But
that's interesting. But
there's
yeah,
all this
what's the 2-syllable word for that?
Yeah, Ellening.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I mean, all these things. It's crazy. The other day, because I have so much time on my hands, and when you're not around, I don't know what to do with myself. I just searched Harlem Shake on YouTube and was like, I wonder if people still do these. So I just switched it to most recent, and sure enough, there like that day there had been like 20 Harlem Shake videos.
Really?
Uploaded. It's absurd.
Also, dude, that's like literally like, are you pretending to be yourself? Like the idea of like, what should I do on the internet right now? I'm going to do most recent Harlem Shake uploads on YouTube in December 2018 is like, you're living your best, Josiah, and I appreciate that. But it's like someone is pretending to be you.
maybe I've been replaced.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's fascinating to me. It does seem like the Harlem Shake has kind of gone global. Like it was mostly happening in like developing countries and stuff. So that's kind of interesting too. And almost like from an anthropological sense, you could turn it into something smart or serious if you wanted to, or you could just be like, haha, Harlem Shake's still happening. But anyways, I'm rewinding back to at least 5 years ago, or maybe even longer, when there was a minor movement of Peggy Sue cover video gimmicks, or whatever you want to call it. There was a viral craze that didn't go viral. I don't think it ever took off, but it could have.
Yeah.
And this, my friend, is built around the bridge. So I'm going to start with this one. I want you to go ahead and skip to the 145 mark, if you will.
Okay, I've
so this kid, Nico, he got the name Nico. He's just like a little lad in his room. Just like playing the guitar thing so bad, but I love it. You're great, Nico. But there's a part in the song where it's just bass and drums, like where Mark invited people to a house party or whatever. Yeah. And in this video, Nico takes that part he sort of grins at the camera. He musses up his hair a little bit. He does a little guitar noise. He just like kind of looks awkward. And then I'm pretty sure, he leaves for some reason. He goes off cam. We just are left alone in his bedroom. Where'd Nico go?
Where's Nico?
Is Nico not going to come back? Come on, Nico. I'm so glad that I'm playing this whole thing right now.
Nico's been gone for a while. Is he getting a water? What's he doing?
Well, there's no guitar at that part,
but
so he doesn't.
What's he doing? What do you think Nico is doing?
He's in.
Oh, he's back.
And then he comes back. So Nico interpreted that part of the song where there was no guitar and said, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to take a break. And I'm going to basically sort of break the fourth wall. I don't know if that counts as the fourth wall, but part of my interpretation of this song is I'm going to demonstrate that there's no guitar to this part, and I'm not even needed. Wow. So I'm just going to leave. And that's what Nico did, okay? So Nico, that's great. You're participating in a movement. Now go to the same time code of this video, which is actually earlier. So maybe this kid invented it, but this one's better, so I'm building up. This is from 2008. This is from ZIOMI 34. So 145 again. Let's see what happens. This little kid is just like shredding in his room, playing the riff. Turns the volume down.
He just takes his guitar off.
He's bopping his head. He takes his guitar off.
He casts his pick aside like it's offended him. He
casts his pick aside? And now what happens? He's got a Pepsi. He nods at the camera. He takes some Pepsi.
He's just like looking around his room.
He's chilling. He's showing that the guitar is not needed here. It's a beautiful interpretation of the arrangement.
Here it's coming back. He's getting ready. Nope. Oh, he's still kind of bored.
Where's his pick? Did he lose his pick?
Oh, now he's back.
Another person who looks a lot like Ben Cook, actually.
Yeah, all of these. Well, here's the thing. Any little boy just kind of looks like Ben Cook.
But but yeah, so so there's two, and then thank God I found a third. So there's three in this genre
Right.
of whatever this genre is. I don't know. Don't even read the description if you can help yourself, but around 150. Let's go on this
Okay,
one.
150.
This is by Rob Belushi.
Oh.
Bellusci.
The lesser known
different
Belushi,
spelling.
yeah.
So this is from 2014. And this is what he's decided to do with the break. That's right. He's got a pint.
He's got a pint. Why is there? He's in a room with like multiple bunk beds, and he's chugging a pint.
Yeah, he's in a very childish room, but he's pounding an entire pint of beer.
But why do you have a pint? Like that's what I don't get. Like why do you not have a bottle or a can? Like how English are you that you're drinking a pint in the room with your bunk beds?
He also, I feel like he could have enjoyed it a little more because he's finished it so quickly that now he's just sitting here waiting around. Like the whole break was.
Yeah, he could have had some sips.
He could have, or had 2 pints. But anyways, so he had written cover of a great song. Sorry for the bad sucking improv at the end. Haha. P.S. The beer was great.
I appreciate that you didn't want that spoiled for me.
Yeah, I mean, the pint does make it a very funny visual aspect that he pulls a full pint.
Just out of nowhere. Yeah, I like that. Maybe we should bring back the Peggy Sue challenge.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's what it has to be called. So Peggy Sue challenge. That is a great idea because we don't get enough people learning these riffs and doing like teen boy bedroom covers. So learn the riff.
First of all, become a teenager.
Okay, you need a room with 3 bunk beds in it, like that boy's room. Yeah. But no, I think it could be a challenge that comes back. Like, you don't have to play the whole riff; just play the part right before it. Then take the break and do something hilarious. Yeah. It's all there. It's all there to be viral content.
And all of the money goes to ALS research. So
yeah. That's what. Well, we won't tell them what that stands for.
No, you can never know.
Okay, but I'm going to play one actual cover as well because the challenge was great, but we need some indie energy in here right now. So this is uploaded by Jelly Blood on SoundCloud. And the reason I love it so much, I don't even remember what it sounds like, but the throwaway art that they've made for the single is fantastic. It seems to be like
I like Jelly Blood as a
ad.
name. That's a kind of a cool fucking.
It's a good name, and then they've taken like a newspaper ad for like bouncy castle
for like
rentals,
like $2,000 bouncy castles. Like these things are expensive.
It says $99 flat rate shipping for bouncers and combos.
Bouncers.
Oh, I love it. So yeah, this is by Jelly Blood on SoundCloud. Let's check it out.
I know what it's like to be alone, sitting in your room, listening to all the doubts that your parents have to say to you, and as your head gets so cluttered inside, you try to stay awake. Everything they say are lies. It's all the shit that you ever had, so hold in all your aggressions, because you're grinding your teeth down to the bottom of your chin. It's not easy, so damn pleasing to not laugh at everything they say as they tell you what to be. You're not alone.
Jelly Blood.
Jelly Blood. You know, it's pretty good. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I've just clicked through Jelly Blood's page, and Jelly Blood's wearing a white dress shirt and has written "I fucking care" on the back of it. So that's interesting. Very, very teen energy to me here, but I'm into it.
I care. Like, cool. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate teen energy for sure.
Yeah, teen energy's good. And yeah, I'm into it. The Jelly Blood has also written "Don't laugh at me" on his SoundCloud page, and I wouldn't dare.
Would never laugh at you, Jelly Blood.
Yep.
So is that it, Josiah?
there's more, but I think we can stop.
Okay.
I think we've gotten the vibe. We've uncovered the Peggy Sue challenge. What more do you want?
No, I'm good. I'm often good, and then you're like, I have a whole other, like, there's like an epilogue that's just as long as the rest of this beautiful novel. So, Josiah, what are your final thoughts on the song Peggy Sue by the band Blink-182?
I kind of wish there was a better cover interpretation of it, because I do like imagining it as this song that almost was. Like,
Yeah, no, I
wish
totally
that
agree.
someone would just do it as a Dude Ranch song completely all the way through. And Mark, Tom, and Travis Show kind of scratches that itch, but it still sounds like Mark, Tom, and Travis Show. It doesn't sound like a Sweet Trombino production.
Yeah.
So
Bring back the Beano.
But it is, yeah, bring back the Beano, and tell him to come on the pod. But yeah, I don't know. I just like that there's still ways that we discover songs that are good. Like I'm starting to think that we know all the good songs, but then there's so many that are still just like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a little.
It's nice to be surprised by these things. So yeah, I mean, I thought like the chorus is just so fucking good, and the bridge, in addition to the challenge, is like sick. Like when the guitar comes back in, it sounds really good, and I love the "I'm Sorry" riff. That's like the real takeaway for me, is that "I'm Sorry" is like fucking good. So.
I was gonna say I'm sorry, but I don't have anything to say sorry for, and it's not really on topic.